Hello, hello, Cancer. Welcome to your July 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Cancer. And I also want you to know that at the end, because it is your season, I am going to be pulling an extra bonus card for you as I do during each sign season. So stay tuned for that at the end, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Onyx Healing if you haven't done that already. All sorts of good stuff on there. I am going to lay these cards out and then get started. Okay, go ahead, take a deep breath into the diaphragm. I'm going to pull these oracle cards. Don't forget all of the stuff that you need. If you want to know which decks I've used, they're listed in the description box as always. Just check in with your situation right now. Maybe there's some specific information you want to have come up during this reading. Just invite that in. Okay, let's start with this truth bomb first thing. Lack of passion is fatal. So really start looking at the areas of your life that simply do not feel good, that aren't filling your cup, that aren't making you feel inspired, that aren't making you feel good. That's the type of stuff that will inevitably weigh you down over time and then result in you feeling dissatisfied and having wasted your time. So that's where you can start looking for the adjustments that you need to make this month. Focus on feeling. If you have a dreadful feeling as you're pursuing something, then more than likely it's not a good idea for you to continue pursuing it. So it doesn't mean that you need to be taking all of these measures that are making you feel super excited 24/7 or passionate 24/7, but a lack of enjoyment, a lack of pleasure, a lack of passion, that's kind of a slippery slope to go down. So that's what this is reflecting to you. And then the animal spirit for you is earthworm. So focusing on like really the expression that came up was like getting your hands dirty. Even though this has a lot to do with other things, that is what this is about. Because you're going to have to experiment, you're going to have to dabble, you're going to have to taste and try and explore in order for things to come together. You're not going to get clarity from thinking, you're not going to get clarity from trying to overprocess things. You really have to do the work behind it in order to get clear and feel into your personal passions. And then we also have loneliness. When you stop fearing your aloneness, you stop settling for less than you deserve. May I embrace and love my solitude, and that's when kindred spirits can finally come. Yeah, so you can just think about the energetics of this for a moment. If you were in a lonely space and you were coming from a period of like desperation and really like needing people intensely to soothe the loneliness, you're attracting people from a space of dysfunction, right? So you're going to get the counterpart to that, which is inevitably going to be dysfunctional. But if you can come from a place of alignment within a space of loneliness rather than desperation of some type or anything that has like a negative undertone to it, the quality of people that come into your life is going to skyrocket. Okay, so the central energy for you this month is the Hermit. I'm not surprised here because this is really a month, I mean, especially since you have loneliness, I'm not getting that this is like you're hiding from everyone. It's about focusing on what's important to you, if that makes sense. The Hermit is like finding your internal light, not focusing on the external opinions or thoughts and ideas of others, but instead just taking a deep, deep look at what's really calling to you, what makes sense for you, what are you what are you trying to build and wanting to create in this lifetime? Because that's what we're here to do. We're creative beings. So this is really putting things into perspective for you. Let's see what's shifting out. Father of Wands, maybe this is a person. Otherwise, this is more of a period of taking action, shifting into a period of contemplation, right? That also can apply to Mercury retrograde, right? If you were get it done, get it done, get it done, Mercury goes retrograde. I forget. It's in like the first week of July, I think. And then you want to crawl into the shell and kind of revise, edit, focus on your feelings, see exactly what it is that's working for you and what's not, right? Because anytime we have a period of introspection, we really have to do some sifting through the things that make sense and what don't. And then as far as this shifting out, like I said, it could be a person, right? So if your life is very people focused at this time, we all go through different periods where relationships are the focal point or careers are the focal point. So wherever you're at with that, this could be someone just like not being the center of your universe, especially because you have the loneliness card on the table and like doing the hard work. That's what Earthworm reminds me of as well. It's kind of like this could have been something where you were pouring a lot of energy into someone else, right? That's a very Cancerian thing to have happen. So that's where the focus is shifting back onto you. The oncoming energy is the 10 of Pentacles. I mean, like, who can complain? The foundation that you're building is going to be a lot better because you are self-focused. Like I said, it's about coming from a place of alignment rather than desperation or endless need, right? That's the type of stuff that will bring about like narcissists and things. So the more you can focus in on like, okay, what's good for me? What is it that really inspires my passion? What makes me feel good? How do I need to get my hands dirty? Etc., etc. That's what the 10 of Pentacles is really saying. The rewards are sitting here, but the condition is that you really feel into your passion and your alignment and doing the work to get there. Remember, the work never stops. Like I see people in the comments sometimes where they're like, again, but the whole point is that this is your healing process that's evolving. It's like the 10 of Pentacles is not a destination. The 10 of Pentacles is a foundation that has been, you've essentially laid the brick and done a lot of the building, and then the rewards compound over time. That's what the 10 of Pentacles is for. It's not just one instance or one day or one moment when you achieve this. That's not how this works. So try to pull your mind away from that and really focus on what it is that you're building long term, and then how you're communicating that in present time for your future self. Like, how are you setting yourself up for success? This is what you need to know about July. The Fool. It's always going to feel scary. No matter what. Like, you're not going to be able to get out of the fear part. It's just kind of the way this works. I'm going to clarify this. The Hierophant. You're going to have to push yourself. So, because you see the Saturn right here, that Saturn glyph. The Fool is like, I feel like I'm jumping off a cliff. It's a new experience. It's a new journey. Okay, so that's one aspect of this. So you're definitely going to need to push yourself in that way. Or like not pouring all of your energy into someone else. Or doing all of these other things that might be really tempting for you. Instead, you're going to have really, really solid boundaries around all of that so that it doesn't become an endless cycle of pouring energy into things. So that's where you want to stay focused on yourself, and that might be something that is hard to do consistently. Pouring energy back into yourself and trusting that the rewards are going to come from that. So just keep that in mind. It's going to take some boundaries and it's going to feel scary. All excellent signs of growth, might I add. Oh, and then this is advice for you. So this is the Tower. And thank goodness this is, in the advice section, because that's showing that this is a decision that you're making, right? So the Tower is all about letting things go, releasing things, not holding on to anything that doesn't work. Remember, the Hermit in the center is saying you have this deep contemplation period, and I'm actually getting that this is a really big season for you. I think in part it has to do with, this being your season, but you have 3 majors sitting in this center channel. So I'm just getting that it's going to be a really significant month where I would make your decision making a little bit more. I would recommend that you take it a bit more seriously than usual this month, because it's going to have bigger benefits than you realize. Okay, and then to clarify the Tower, so that advice position, we have the 2 of Cups. You're going to need to look out with relationships, right? Is something causing you to spend more energy than give? Because there's a big part of this that's kind of screaming a lack of reciprocation. This right here in particular. The Father of Wands is exerting energy, so that could be you. And then the Hermit is more of the yin. So pulling it back, receiving it. So under here with the Tower, it's just like, if it's not reciprocal, if it's not balanced, then you're really going to need to take a look at that. Is it worth having people around if it makes you feel drained, or if you no longer at the end of the day have anything left for yourself? Are those things truly worth it? So consider that. And then also remember that your no's matter. What you say no to, what you reject, what you decline is going to make way for the yes that you want. And that's a really important thing to think, because if you're saying yes to things that don't feel good, if you're saying yes to a lack of passion, if you're saying yes to all of these things that are draining you and exhausting you, saying yes is basically like telling God or the universe, oh, more please. I would like more of that. So that's why I'm saying you need to be careful with what you're saying yes to, especially if it's a lack of reciprocation. That can also apply to jobs. Okay, so now let's get into the timeline. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quarter. 1st quarter of July, like that first week, Knave of Coins. This is like wrapping up any loose ends. Remember I told you we have Mercury retrograde. I don't know the exact date. That's going on in July, towards the beginning. And so this is like, you're going to need to show up, dot your I's, cross your T's, do all of that stuff in the beginning of the month. Wrap up anything else that you have going on so that you can kind of hibernate during that period, during that Mercury retrograde. 2nd quarter of July, King of Swords, so lots of ideas. I think there's a lot of inspiration. But the thing with the King of Swords is it's conceptual. It's not about taking action necessarily. So that's like the missing piece here. I'm not getting that it's not like you don't want to take action. I'm just getting it's like more ideas than taking action. So make sure you're backing it up in some way. Or if you're flooded with ideas and just a whole bunch of insight, then make sure you're putting it on paper. 3rd quarter, we have the 5 of Swords. So this is about getting clear on what doesn't work. So like the King of Swords is communicating here, it's about the ideas and inspiration. When you move into the 5 of Swords period, it's about cutting back, pulling your energy away, doing all of the things that really help steer you in the right direction. So if you are taking action here, right, you have the idea, you try it out, you dabble, you get your hands dirty, you see if it sticks, The things that don't, you can just release, and that's what the Five of Swords is saying. Or old things that maybe you're investigating again or wanting to dabble in again, you tried out and realized it no longer resonates. That's the type of month this is. It's trial and error. It's see if it sticks. Let me give it a shot. If it doesn't make sense, just toss it. And then wrapping up the month, you have the Hierophant again. I think you're really clear on your boundaries and what makes sense for you. This is a nice way to wrap it up because it's the boundaries that are being, you know, they're bubbling up here with the Hermit card. So that's nice to see. I think it's primarily about the clarity that you get this month. So there's also probably going to be it might be a little bit easier for you to set boundaries by the end of the month with whatever it is that you think needs to be set. Okay, now I'm doing a 3-card pick. So you're welcome to ask a question, ask for guidance, ask for clarity. Whoops. Okay, card number 1, we have the Hanged Man. Remember, it's about consistency, it's about effort, it's about what you're doing each and every day. This is an accumulative process. It's not just like one decision. That's what the Ten of Pentacles really is. So you can remind yourself of that as you go. It's about the little things, the little decisions, the little yeses, the little nos, that are what's building and creating for you. So the more consciousness you can start applying to your yeses and nos, your micro decisions, the faster you're going to push yourself in the direction that hopefully is aligned with you. Card number 2, we have the Four of Swords. It's okay to rest. I think you've been doing a lot of work, and it's kind of like if you need a break, you need a break. You can't like bully your body into having more energy. You have to give it what it needs in order to restore the energy that you may have exerted. So even if it seems counterintuitive or like everything's going to fall apart if you slow down, if you struggle with like rest guilt, anything like that, remind yourself that it's your job. Like it's a necessity. It's not a luxury. It's like you have to give your body a break in some way, shape, or form, whatever that looks like for you, so you can refill your tank. And then card number 3, we have the Six of Pentacles. Really focus on the give and take. Are you overgiving? Are you overtaking? I highly doubt that, but you get the idea that there needs to be some balance in the relationships, in the interactions, even in like employer-employee relationships. If you're giving, you know, all of your time, if you're taking on a bunch of additional projects that are outside of your job description, like that is all of that is energetics. You know, that's energetic investment. And if you're not getting that, if it's not being reflected back to you, then that's where resentments can kind of kick in. So you want to make sure you're feeling into like the fairness of what it is that you're worth and what the effort and time is worth for you. And then the bonus card for you, happy birthday to those of you who have birthdays coming up. Or maybe if you're watching this, you've already had a birthday. Let's see. Four of Swords. I wasn't joking here when I said you need to rest. That's really, really key. I think there's a lot that, especially with you had the Hermit in the center of this spread, I think you're not going to be able to see clearly if you're not resting adequately. That's kind of the bottom line here. You're not going to have all the information. You're not going to have the energy to really discern what it is that you truly need and what feels good if you're running on fumes. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is they're like, oh, I'm just going to keep moving and keep going and keep doing what I've always done and not take a break. And that's where they get really locked up. So the more you can center yourself, get into your body, stay in your body, the better you're going to be. Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. I absolutely appreciate you more than you could possibly know. Please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. You're welcome to click that bubble right there. And I'm creeping up on 50,000 right now, so I'm super excited. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Onyx Healing. That is where you can get more content, more readings, all sorts of good stuff that you get for free, as well as my podcast Sunday messages if you are interested in more of the energetic, intuitive healing, stuff like that. All of that is on my podcast, which is in the description box. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, that is also available in the description box. And another thing that I just launched recently is my meditations, and so those are available for you to get on my website. They are more of a class style, so I teach you energetic tools, and that's more for those of you that are interested in the intuitive development piece, learning how to access your own intuition. That is now available for you as well, loaded with tools. So I hope you guys enjoy those if you check those out. And if you are interested in more of the tarot readings, then make sure you check out my Patreon. I do love and relationship readings, which come out every month, that are big readings like this, but they are sign specific. And I also do weekly sign specific readings, the big circle, oval readings that I do. And those come out every Friday. So there's a whole bunch of different tiers for you to choose from. And until next time, have a beautiful July, everybody. I am sending you so much love and support. Don't forget to watch your sun, moon, and rising signs if you haven't already. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.